This story is offered as a record of aftermath. It does not recount the events of war, nor does it attempt to interpret them. It observes what remains when war is finished, what lingers quietly in the body, and what is required for peace to take root. What follows is not instruction, it is not testimony. It is an act of listening, preserved. Long after uniforms are folded away and official histories conclude, the work of living continues. For some, that work includes carrying memories that were never meant to be permanent companions. This story enters not at the moment of conflict, but at the moment when speaking becomes possible, when time, safety, and presence finally align. It begins in a room designed for light. The room was already awake before anyone spoke. Morning light passed gently through lace curtains and settled across the plants as if it had learned their shapes over time. Begonias, cacti, African violets, things that bloomed without urgency, filled the solarium quietly. Nothing reached, nothing strained, everything simply existed. Breakfast arrived without ceremony. Coffee, toast, something small to eat between pauses. Then the door closed again, and the room returned to stillness. 2 chairs faced the window. A small recorder rested between them. Beginning always took time. Outside the glass, the day moved forward without awareness of what was about to be spoken. Inside, someone prepared to speak about what had followed him home long after the war had ended. This story does not begin with battle. It begins with sitting. Silence was not empty here. It was preparatory. He had entered the army young. He served as a medic. His work was care rather than combat, attending to whoever was brought to him, regardless of uniform. Pain did not belong to one side alone. There were bandages. Morphine, the steady work of easing suffering, where it could be eased. When hands were too weak to write, words were spoken instead. Letters were formed carefully, as if they might travel farther than the body could. Some letters were finished. Some were not. They were sent anyway. There was a foxhole, a moment that arrived too quickly, an injury that ended his work there. A hospital followed, white walls, beds arranged in rows. The war did not end all at once, it receded unevenly. His service concluded, not with ceremony, but with survival. The war ended. He came home. Life resumed without explanation, the way it often does. Work. Family. Days arranged into something recognizable again. What had been carried did not disappear, but it was held carefully, so it would not become fear inside the home. A family was raised. Love was given. Pain existed, but it was managed quietly, so it would not speak louder than kindness. Years passed. The war remained mostly unspoken, not erased but contained. Time moved forward, and with it came a gentler pace. Eventually, conditions shifted. The world slowed enough for memory to surface. The stories did not arrive for analysis. They did not arrive seeking correction. They arrived because there was room. Listening became the work. The recorder was turned on and off as needed. Sometimes words came easily. sometimes only tears. Nothing was forced, nothing was rushed. Tears were allowed to move through the room and leave when they were ready. They were not explained, they were not redirected. Sitting was enough. Light through the window gave the eyes somewhere else to go when memory pressed too close. Breaks were taken. Beginning again always required patience. Listening did not promise relief, it did not claim resolution. But relief arrived anyway, quietly, because nothing was being demanded anymore. No explanations, no outcomes, just presence. Fear of help that resembled hospitals and uniforms remained. Comfort was found instead in a room that asked nothing, only stillness, light, and time. Elsewhere, a small box existed, lined in blue velvet. A purple heart rested inside, preserved, as if time could be contained there while life moved forward in another direction. Service had taken many forms: care in wartime, restraint in family life, and finally, the courage to speak without being required to continue. In the end, there was no need to return to the war. What mattered was that he had served his country, his family, and the quiet life he worked carefully to protect. Sitting together was enough. This story does not seek to define healing. It observes relief, earned slowly, through permission, rather than pressure. Listening, when offered freely, becomes a form of service in its own right. What follows war is not always silence. Sometimes it is a room, a chair, and someone willing to stay. Peace does not arrive all at once. It settles. When the fighting was long over, what remained was not the war itself, but the need for someone to stay and listen. This audio record documents what remains after conflict ends, not the battle itself, but the quiet work of listening that allows life to continue. Thank you for spending time with this entry. Red Cardinal Kitchen. The illumination of a dynamic archive.